Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. Today we're going to make Moroccan vegetable soup.
Whole food, plant-based, it's the best thing for our taste. So pull up a chair and grab a plate, 'cause it's the all-free whole food plant-based cooking show.
Okay, we're going to get right into it. And if you want the full recipe with the exact ingredients, that will be in the details in the link below. I already have my pot started heating here. And we're going to start with the onions, celery, and red peppers. And there's about a cup of each. So that's equivalent to one large onion, a few stalks of celery, maybe about 3 stalks of celery, and one whole red pepper. And you want to cut them pretty uniquely sized, kind of small, if you can see that. Because the soup's going to be, the chunks are all going to be smaller than bite-sized pieces. And this is my spices here. I have 4 cloves of garlic, and this is Moroccan soup. So Moroccan food has a lot of spices in it. And this soup is just going to make your taste buds explode. It's delicious. So there's cumin, there's coriander, onion powder, curry powder, cayenne, allspice, smoked paprika, and nutmeg. And if those sound odd together, you'll be surprised once you taste it. It's just so full of flavor and delicious. Okay, so we're just going to put this in the pan, and we're just going to saute this a little bit with no oil. You could put a little bit of water in there, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of water, but I feel like it doesn't even need that really, if you just continue to stir it. And we put the spices in first because they kind of need to be heated up to really release all of their flavor and intensity. So we're going to let this saute for about 5 minutes until the onions look a little bit translucent, and then we're going to add a lot of the other ingredients. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and if you can see, the spices are, they kind of cook to the bottom a little bit. So that's when we need to add a little bit of our vegetable broth, but we'll add that with all of the rest of it, and it will deglaze the bottom so it won't be sticking at all. What I have here are some French green lentils, but you can use regular lentils. This is about 1.5 cups. And we have sweet potato, which is about one sweet potato, and that's about 1.5 to 2 cups worth. And a cup of chopped carrots, which equals out to about 3 carrots. A can of no salt tomato paste, because this is really going to give it a nice pop of flavor. I love the tomatoey, brothy types of soup. And then I have about 4 cups of chopped kale, and I've chopped it really small so that when it cooks down, it's going to be those same teeny little bites. You don't want to get a really big, huge chunk of kale, in your soup. It's all really, uniform size pieces. And the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So that is roughly, it depends on how juicy your lemons are. So I'm going to try 1.5 lemons. And then at the end, if you feel like it could use a little bit more lemon juice, you're always welcome to add more, that other last half. And this soup, it goes great with my sweet potato flatbread, or you could make little corn, use little corn tortillas. It's wonderful to kind of dip it in there. Delicious. Oops, I'm gonna save that right for the last. Okay, and then I have 2 liters of vegetable broth. And this is my homemade vegetable broth. As you can see, it's really kind of red looking because we eat quite a few beets. So my vegetable scraps tend to be a little bit beet heavy. But 2 liters of that. You could use any store-bought kind. Just make sure it's low sodium, especially if that's what you're really working on is low sodium dishes. That's what I try to base a lot of my recipes on is low sodium. So, as you see, this one doesn't have any sodium added. That is what the lemons are for. So you can kind of trick your taste buds a bit if you use lemon juice or lime juice, especially at the end. You know, when you've just gotten your bowl, you can spritz a little bit of that on top of your soup, and it tricks your taste buds into thinking it's kind of salty. So then you don't have to use salt. It's much, much healthier for you. Okay, we're just gonna let this cook until the lentils are soft. And that takes, you know, it depends on the lentil, but it takes about 35 minutes or so. So we're gonna let that cook. And another thing, if you like more of a stew type of texture, you can leave it with this amount of liquid. But I kind of like it a little bit brothier, so in the end, or closer to the end, I might add a little bit of water, but I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, the soup is done. So I am gonna add, like I said, I'm gonna add just a little bit of lemon juice at the end, because I like that zing of flavor, because the other lemon juice is really cooked into the soup. So this will just give you that little bit of an extra bite. And now I get to taste it, even though it's scalding hot, like all my shows are. I risk it and taste it just for you. So, like I said before, this will continue to get thicker and thicker. So if you wanted a little bit more brothy, just add a little bit more water or vegetable broth, and then you can enjoy it. And this is, we have a family of 4, so this will be one whole meal plus leftovers for tomorrow, or you could freeze the leftovers and have a whole other meal that's already ready. Oh, yum. Delicious soup. So have it with some corn tortilla or some of my delicious sweet potato flatbread. And I'll see you next time.